got Jordan Rinaldi back here on the program. He's going to be taking on Jason Knight at UFC 230 on November 3rd. Jordan, what's going on, man? How are you?
Doing great. Loving life. Living the dream.
I bet, man. Things are going well. You got this huge fight coming up here. Not only just on this card, because this is like, in New York, it's kind of a big deal, but you're fighting Jason Knight. Must have been pretty excited. What was your reaction when you found out you got this fight?
I was actually really shocked, one, to be on a pay-per-view, but for it to be the Madison Square Garden event, I was like, wow, really? I'll take it, And then for Jason Knight, guys in wars all the time. He's a tough guy, and there's always a possibility, even though it's on a big card, that we could get fight of the night just because of how he likes to fight. So that it makes a lot of sense, and it's a good opportunity for me.
Yeah, I agree with that. And of course, you haven't fought since January, and this we're talking about a fight in November here. Were you looking to get in there a little bit sooner, or was there injuries? What was sort of the reasons for the delay?
Yeah, I wanted to get right back into it because after that fight, which was terrible, I was in shape and everything, and I kept on training right away, but I actually hurt my back a little bit. So it wasn't a really bad injury, but it was one to where you got to take your time, you got to be patient with it, or else it would have caused a more long-lasting problem. So I had to take care of that real quick, and now finally getting back to it once they found me a good fight. And I also had to take time because of the drop to featherweight as well.
Right.
That was something kind of I decided to do recently. So I think it was a couple months ago I went out to the Performance Institute to see if it was plausible again, and that's when we decided. So I needed a little bit of lead time before I could get a contract going.
How was it going to the Performance Institute? I went there just recently. I got a tour of it. I can't believe how big that facility is. That was crazy.
It's pretty awesome. I mean, the Institute side it's a pretty good size, and they have everything there. And then you got to think that they have the not production office, but I guess the corporate office connected to it as well. So, I mean, it's a big facility, really nice. Everyone there is happy and good to be around, and it was just a great situation to be in, and to be able to go there freely, it's really cool.
What have you had to do to get down to featherweight, aside from, I'm sure the diet's got to be cleaned up, probably eating smaller portions? What are some of the things you have to do to get down to that limit?
Honestly, it's just about leaning out. I wasn't a big 55er. The last few fights, I was cutting between like 1 and 3 pounds during the fight week. I'd come in maybe 5 pounds over 155. So the weight cuts were always really easy, and now it's just refining my diet a little bit more. And the nutritionist with the Institute gave me a detailed plan according to what kind of workouts I'm going to do, what time of day, everything, to fuel myself for the training rather than eating because I like to eat, which is my problem, is that I enjoy food. So now for the last, it's probably been 2 months now, or a month or two, that I've been doing it very strictly on their diet. The weight's fallen off. It's great. I'm not worried about the weight cut at all, and it's been great. Probably lost a tiny bit of muscle, but not anything drastic at all.
You referenced the Gregor Gillespie fight there. We'll quickly talk about it. What did you take away from that performance that you can bring into this fight? Because you always learn more from a loss than a win, right?
You do learn more from a loss, and he humbled me. That's what it comes down to. I was arrogant about my ground game. I thought if he did get me to the ground, I'd be fine. I'd be comfortable, and I really didn't prepare as much as I should have for his ground game. I thought he was going to be good on top, but nothing that I wasn't prepared for because I've been doing jiu-jitsu for so long and he hasn't. I was honestly more worried about working on takedown defense, and I did get one stop on a takedown, but he's persistent and he got me down. And then when he was on top, he was just much better than I expected. And I don't want to take anything from him, but because he's a fantastic fighter and he should be ranked in the top 15 by now, which is kind of crazy that he isn't. But I didn't train enough jiu-jitsu. I was proud and arrogant about how good I was on the ground, and he really humbled me. He showed me that, you got to work on all aspects at all times, and you can't be too proud about any part of your game. So he really humbled me, and I'm not happy that I lost it, or how I lost it, but I've learned and now I'm growing from it.
Let's talk about Jason Knight. He's got that 20-5 record, never in a boring fight. I mean, I was saying this, I talked to Jason the other day, actually, and, I think this could definitely be fight of the night candidate for sure. How do you feel like you match up against him in this fight?
I think I match up well with him. Like I said before, he's crazy in there. He's wild. I think I'm better, honestly, everywhere. The ground game is what he's slick at, and that's what he'll pull guard randomly in fights, and even in situations when he hurts guys, he'll pull guard, which is strange, but he's that confident in his ground game. And if there's any part that he's better than me at, it could be the ground game, and I just got to be wary of that. But I think he's a good fighter, tough, durable, great cardio. And so all these things are things that I've prepared myself for based on what he is, and I've prepared for a 15-minute war with him. So I'm excited. It could be fight of the night, or at least a performance bonus. They kind of snubbed me on the Mexico City one, but maybe I'll get a little 50-grand bonus this fight.
Okay. Let's talk about training camp. I know last time we spoke, you were working a little bit with the Lima brothers. Did you do that for this camp as well?
Somewhat. So my wife works in Georgia or in Atlanta, and then when I have a fight coming up 6 weeks before the fight, I come up to Charlotte where my home gym is. So we're still in Atlanta. I got to Charlotte about 4 weeks ago, three or 4 weeks ago. And so when I was in Atlanta, always training with the Lima brothers, the Sun Sal's as well, Jacal. There's a lot of just studs out there. So the quality of training there is really high. I mean, you can't get much better than all those guys. And then, so 6 weeks out, 3 weeks from now, or 3 weeks ago, I came to Charlotte. And now it's just been with the normal guys that I've always trained with, that I've been with since day one, that I'm comfortable with, that we know how to program my jiu-jitsu, my wrestling, my strength and conditioning, and we work out well together, and it's well meshed and well-oiled machine. So plus when it comes to fight camp, you do certain things specific for the fighter, but most of the time it's just getting mentally and physically prepared, getting the cardio right, kind of ironing out what you want to do against that opponent and what he might do. So the in between the fights is where you get better, and that's what's great being down in Atlanta is there's such high level guys down there. So I'm getting better each in between each fight, but then during fight camp I come up to Charlotte and it's just ironing out details, getting better, getting in great shape, and I think I've done that well. So training with all those guys has been great, and then training with my guys here in Charlotte has been great as well.
Who are some of the guys you get to train with in Charlotte?
Honestly, you wouldn't know many of them or any of them really. So they're just more
up and comers though. Pros. I mean, some people we can be keeping an eye on, I guess.
Yeah, Jeremy Perdue is one of my main training partners. He's from Charlotte basically. He's been fighting for a while, pro, and he's my main training partner. I have a bunch of high-level jiu-jitsu guys who I get to train with, and my coach Hallie, or Snake, is the main guy that I like to train with as well. So, but they're not big name guys, and I'm okay with that because they're good at each respective thing, and then my job is to be good at meshing it all together and getting the gray area right.
How do you see this fight playing out on November 3rd?
I don't like to make predictions.
I know. I got to ask anyways, though. I got to see if I can get one this time. We'll see. But yeah.
Of course, it all depends. I mean, I'd like to beat him up on the feet. If I'm not beating him up on the feet, I'll put him on his back. And I feel like he'll have the same idea, It's almost everybody's idea is to let's see how the feet goes. And then if that's not working well, we'll take it to the ground. And that's what I expect. It could end up being a bloodbath too, because we both cut pears, I guess, or peaches, whatever you want to call it. But I mean, it could be a bad bloodbath of just banging, but we'll see. I'm excited for it because it could be so intense. It could be that fight of the night kind of fight, something like the Pettis fight we just saw.
Yeah, that's right. And this card's going to be great too. It's UFC 230. It's coming up here November 3rd. Jordan, it was great getting a chance to catch up with you, man. Just remind people where they can find you on social media, and if you have any sponsors or shout outs, the floor is yours.
All right, y'all can follow me at Jordan Rinaldi on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I have a fan page, so don't add me my personal page, please. But I have a fan page like that if you could. And then just thank you to Team Rock, Fit Fuel Charlotte, Cage Side, and that's about it.
What's up, fight fans? If you like this video, be sure to subscribe to see even more interviews with your favorite UFC and Bellator fighters. We've also got coverage at events, including post-fight press conferences and media scrums. And if you like this video, check out the video to my right. It's worth your time.